Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 11. Begging for Mercy. In the Fighter 4 Dan Pigu realm, one's muscles, bones and even skins will be tempered, causing one's strength to soar rapidly. The difference between it and Junchi realm is like heaven to earth. Yet, the brat in Junchi realm is able to cause a Pigu realm expert to vomit blood with just a single slap. Everyone found the sight unbelievable. Besides, wasn't this fellow the last in the sparring during the teacher qualification examination? Why is he so strong now? It must just be a coincidence. Do not fear him. Qian Diao howls. One of the teachers also agrees with what Qian Diao says and charges over. Just like Li Yuan, he has reached Pigu realm advanced stage. His muscles are just like metal tendons and his skin is just like a metal plate, giving an impression of indestructibility. You shall fall to the ground. Stepping forward, this teacher lifts his eyebrow and prepares to smack him with his palm. Pa pa. The compression of the air results in explosive sonic booms. Facing the other party's ruthless blows, Zhang Xuan remains calm. With his forefinger and middle finger together, he strikes upwards at a slanted angle. Pada. The teacher whose body is like a metal plate feels a slight pain at his armpits before his vision went dark and he collapses onto the floor. What? In 2 strikes, 2 Fighter 4 Dan teachers were defeated. The remaining 2 teachers, including Qian Diao, knows that the teacher whom they had been looking down upon isn't as simple as they thought to be. Let's attack together. With a loud roar, Qian Diao raises his fist and charges over. However, even before he made a move, Zhang Xuan suddenly appears right before him. His left hand grabs his face while his right hand pokes him lightly. Putong. A pain in the abdomen and Qian Diao collapses to the floor as well. The moment his body hits the floor, the last teacher whom he teamed up with also falls to the ground and convulses as though he is epileptic. How did you know all of our Mingmen? With a spurt of fresh blood, Qian Diao stares at the fellow in front of him in fright. He finally understands why even though the other party's strength is far from them, the results ended in the direct opposite. Their opponent found the Mingmen of their cultivation the moment he strikes. How could they have possibly expected this and guard against it? All cultivators would tend to have a Mingmen as their weakness, and the moment it is struck, even if the person striking is a child, it would be possible to kill the person. However, Mingmen is the core of a human, thus cultivators would protect it carefully. Even the closest kin would not know where their Mingmen is. Although Zhang Xuan does not possess strong cultivation, he seems to know where their Mingmen is and strikes at their vitals directly. How could they resist against someone like that? Hearing his words of astonishment, Zhang Xuan smiles without explaining. Of course, it is through the Library of Heaven's Path. Not only does the Library of Heaven's Path allows him to see through flaws in one's cultivation techniques, he is also able to see the personal problems of the cultivator and his Mingmen. They are all written in detail on it. Knowing his opponent's Mingmen and the weaknesses in their skills, even if Zhang Xuan transcended from Earth and still isn't very familiar with the skills of this foreign world, it is still a simple task to subdue the 4 of them. Since you all chose to accept the bet, you all should have prepared yourself for the consequences of losing the bet. If you all had obediently allowed me to slap you all, we wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. Zhang Xuan chuckles. Zhang Xuan, you don't need to get gleeful over it. I don't know what kind of despicable methods you used to find out where our Mingmen is to wound me, but as the least experienced teacher, you attacked other teachers in public. Just by this alone, I am able to send a complaint letter to the academy to have your teacher qualification revoked. Qian Diao howls. There are clear levels between teachers in the academy. For lower-level teachers to make a move against higher-level teachers is an immoral action. Zhang Xuan is young, and he also scored 0 for his teacher qualification examination. Thus, he is considered as one of the least qualified teacher in the academy. For him to wound 4 people who are more qualified than him, if the academy were to be informed of this incident, there would definitely be an uproar. His teacher qualification license being revoked is a small matter. It might be possible for him to be directly expelled. Why? Since you can't defeat me using martial arts, you want to try to the rules to suppress me. Despite facing such threats, Zhang Xuan doesn't seem to be bothered by it. Indeed, Li Yuan is also thinking about this. Excitement and cruelty flash across his eyes. If you obediently kneel before us now and allow us to beat you up, perhaps when our moods lift, we won't report the incident. Otherwise, prepare to be fired. After being fired from your position, without your identity as a teacher protecting you, no one will say anything even if you are killed. Another teacher howls. In Xuanhuan Kingdom, the teachers of an academy are of high social status. The moment they lose their job, their social status would also fall correspondingly. If so, the few of them would really dare to make a move to kill him. Since you all want to deal with this using rules, alright, I will also deal with this using rules then. With a tranquil gaze, he walks a few steps to Qian Diao and says, Teacher Qian Diao, you secretly used Elder Chen Ming's treasure to please your concubine. 3 months ago, you embezzled from the school's fund to buy a house for her. A month ago, when you broke Elder Lu Quan's most beloved porcelain, you pushed the blame onto a student, causing him to be expelled. Do I need to be recounting all of these matters in front of the school leaders? You. Qian Biao's eyes narrow as his plump body twitches uncontrollably. An inconceivable fear surges through his entire body. He looks as though he has seen a ghost and is on the verge of going insane. He committed all of those without leaving behind any traces, so no one knew about it. Even his colleagues, Li Yuan and the others, aren't aware, so this fellow. How did he know about it? Furthermore, with such details. Teacher Li Yuan, did the female student, whom you robbed of her dignity that resulted in her suicide from 3 years ago, return as a vengeful spirit to look for you? A few days ago, you grew an acne on your back. Perhaps, this could be her seeking you for revenge. Ignoring Qian Biao's terrified expression, Zhang Xuan turns to look at Li Yuan. Ah. Hearing those words, Li Yuan hurriedly backs away from fright as his face drains of all color. 3 years ago, he was enchanted by a beautiful female student and he humiliated her, causing her to commit suicide from the shame. This incident was very covert and except for him, no one knew about it. Due to his conscience acting up against him, throughout the 3 years, he often dreamt of the other party coming to reap his life as a vengeful spirit. Furthermore, half a month ago, a giant acne in the shape of a human palm grew on his back, scaring him out of his wits. After hearing Zhang Xuan recount this event with great details, his entire body trembles uncontrollably out of overwhelming fear. Putong. His knees lost his strength and he kneels onto the floor. A sudden pungent smell wafts around the room. To think a fighter 4 Dan advanced stage expert would be frightened to the point of peeing out in public. Teacher Du Chun, you stole your good brother's business and even poisoned him to death through toxic wine. Although this incident was inconclusive back then, if rumors were to spread out now, do you think that you can continue being a teacher? Teacher Bai Lin, there isn't any major flaws in your actions. However, due to your interest in antiques, you have accepted many gifts from the students. If I'm not wrong, the ancient jade ring which you wear should be a gift from back then when a student had something to request of you. As for what the request is about and who the student is, do you still need me to go into details? Looking at the 2 remaining teachers, Zhang Xuan states. You are a devil. You aren't human. The remaining 2 teachers are also all frightened out of their wits. This time, their stares are full of fear. Those things that they have done, although it might not be impeccable, they were confident that no outsider would know of it. Yet, how could this fellow be so aware of it? It is as though he is a specter. When he defeated them through his skills, they only felt ashamed, but not fear. However, when he revealed all of their secrets, they were truly terrified. It is as though the multiple clothes on them were instantly ripped to shreds, causing them to stand nude in front of everyone else. They can already imagine that when the information leaks out, whether they could remain as teachers is already a small affair. In the worst-case scenario, they might be sent to the teacher court and be killed on the spot. We were wrong. Teacher Zhang Xuan, as a great man, don't bear grudges against minor figures like us. Please spare us. Trembling, they unwillingly beg for mercy. I am lazy to bother with what you all did in the past, just stop pissing me off in the future. Also, if you all don't change and continue committing more vile actions, I won't mind interfering to ensure that you all would receive punishments proportionate to your crime. Zhang Xuan waves his hand in disdain. Actually, if these people didn't get on his nerves, he wouldn't be bothered with them. The library of Heaven's path is able to peer into all of one's flaws. Even personality and past actions are counted in its midst, not to mention that this is only a small portion of the entire book. However, he isn't the savior of the world, so no matter what they did in the past and do in the future, as long as they do not cross his path, he wouldn't be concerned with them. What these people should have never done is to find trouble with him and make things difficult for him. Since you made things difficult for me, I will show you what death looks like. So that you would never dare to think of doing the same the second time. We don't dare, we will never dare to. Teacher Zhang Xuan, these are the identity tokens that you wanted. Take as much as you want to. Hearing that he would not expose their past actions, Qidian and the rest heaves a sigh of relief. If you find any errors, please let us know in the comments below so we can fix it as soon as possible. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to get notified of the latest chapter release.